What if this changes the settings on the audio? Sorry, can we double check the audio there still? Hello? Perfect, sorry. Perfect, thank you, and welcome everybody to what has gonna be quite an exciting matchup. We have about 5 minutes before the game starts. If you've been following our streams so far throughout the day, you may have been lucky enough to notice that scintillating battle that we just saw on the previous game. Plenty of action still to happen all around. That last game was Flow losing on Universe to Steamhook. And these games all matter today, ladies and gentlemen. Everything will be crucial. We see PELT warming up. They're coming up against Malmö. These two teams were supposed to face off, or had the potential to face off in Malmö previously, but didn't. And we'll get a chance to now. Plenty at stake, and we will get into it in just a few short minutes. So stick with us here, and we'll be with you imminently. And with that whistle, the clock starts, and so does the action as we are joined here in the mixed division of the summer tour taking place in beautiful Warsaw. Look at that field ahead of us. The skyline, a perfect blue. The turf, a rich green, and the battle lines well drawn in blood as well as paint. Both these teams are on the outside looking in, and this is their last chance to qualify for the hallowed halls of European Championship competition at the end of September. I am Lorcan Murray, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this matchup between PELT Ultimate, coming out of Limerick, Ireland, going up against Malmö Ultimate, coming out of Malmö, Sweden. Both teams were at the earlier invite in Malmö, but did not meet up on that affair. This is crucial for both. A win for Malmö will see them shoot up the rankings and start to really ply their way forward in this tournament. PELT need to win by a few to hold their higher seeding. But to keep it simple, basically both teams need to run the table to make it to the European Championships. And right now, Malmö are going to need to rely on a lot of their talent, a lot of their skill. And a decent measure of it is going to come from Otto Egren. He's already picked up 3 assists, 4 goals. So keep your eye out for the number 8 for Malmö, playing in the red. The Swedes look to make their way down the pitch. There's the big shot and an early turnover. So Malmö start on offense, but cannot hold on to it. How will PELT respond? Let's have another look. You see lots of pressure, and eventually the leading pass is just a bit too far ahead. Lottie Inkenhag for PELT, picking up the disc, marked by the formidable form of Joanna Lindberg. Inkenhag needs to get a throw off somewhere, sends one down the line. That is nicely taken into, set and shot. It's going to sit for a bit. Lots of bodies underneath it, but it's a big man who takes it down. Darragh O'Sullivan's the announcement sees it and finishes it up with a throw to Giza Wild. Incredible scenes as PELT get the first break. A big throw all the way down the pitch, and a big man underneath it in the form of Darragh O'Sullivan, adding to his impressive repertoire of 4 assists coming into this game. As we have another look, and you can see Giza chasing the whole way, watches the play, and then makes a great second move attack. For good measure, Hannah Wilson involved. So PELT come out and score early. We'll go with a bit of a wholesale line change, so not what Malmö needed. As I said previously, with the rankings being as they are, both these teams sitting outside of them, they do need to push their way up. They've taken care of business so far, both picking up big wins against EUCS from Poland, but that team is seeded considerably below both sides, so they will have to win those matches significantly to maintain their rankings, let alone climb. And the problem being, at this tournament, there's only so many teams above them. Big prizes up for grab in the opposite pool in the form of Mosquitoes and Heroes Flying Disc. Heroes Flying Disc giving it up. As right now, Malmö will look to not give it up again. Quicker, down the line, confident. Swing back into the middle. And Algren able to get the quick pop off. Almström. Here's a pick called. Mitchell on the mark. Almström disc in hand. That's Stolkat's getting. He's forced to launch one. And Mark Fanning's going to shepherd that lamb gently out of play. So PELT with a chance for a second break here in the gorgeous Polish afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Game brought to you courtesy of Solid Sport and EUF. As you can just hear from the sideline, Fanning discussing where he gets to bring that in. Doesn't like the first cut, needs an option. Receives one straight forward, but it is overthrown and underrun, unfortunately, as it goes past Emma Sexton. And Malmö are going to want to keep the disc out of her hands. Of course, they need to get it into some of their own, first of all. Algren, beautiful leading pass. And there's that man himself, Algren. Leads straight down the line. You must forgive me, we do not have a number 12, but it is clear she is going to be crucial for Malmö. Brilliant shot. Otto Edgren gets another goal to add to his tally, bringing up to a total of 8. and you must forgive me. We do not currently have number 12's name, but I will work on that as soon as possible. So once more, you can see Malmö attacking down that line. It took a very precise inside-out leading pass to get the motion started. High stall and another great leading pass down the line. Of course, some tireless cutting. And it's all tied up, but Malmö have surrendered their advantage. They are no longer on serve, which is crucial in the game of Ultimate. Big pull. And now the PELT O-line comes out. Mead with the disc. So often the linchpin. Gets it to Tinkler. Tinkler throws around. Martin comes under to collect. The follow-up immediately shut down. Tinkler continues to work. So that's a couple of completions to settle the offensive nerves. Wilson working with Tinkler. As he continues to poke and prod that to the break side. Scuba to the open channel. Martin throws it down the line. McKeown. Mead shimmies and shakes up the line. Sitting looking at the danger zone. He's got a lot of throws, but he keeps it pretty simple for now. Just pops it up into space. Let's Tinker run it down and throw the big hammer all the way over the top, and Martin Tinkers of space collects it. That's a flawless hold for PELT, with almost every player on the pitch touching the disc. So as I was talking about previously with the ranking, some people say it has added extra depth, extra discussion. I would agree with them. Some people say it's added unnecessary maths, and I would agree with them as well. Both these teams come in. The surest way for them to book a place in the championship is if they just win the tournament and are able to get their automatic qualification. A la Leamington Lemmings, who won Elite Invite, Deep Space, who won Summer Tour in Birmingham. That's the simplest way. PELT currently sit 2 outside of the rankings. And their big match is happening this evening, taking on Tartu Turbulence, who are currently 4 inside the rankings. Malmö, as they now receive the disc, are 24th. They need more wins, and they already lost to Tartu. So right now, their only chance is to win the tournament. But with great leading passes like that and use of excessive space, they might just do it brilliantly, caught on the other end. That's a lot more like the kind of Malmö I think we were all expecting to see. So we have another look. Big sweeping pass. Very nicely done. So Malmö tie it back up. A flawless hold of their own, their first of the game. They seem to be settling into it more with time as well. Huge shot immediately from PELT. We know they like to go deep. They trust their receivers. They trust their throwers. And there's some excellent experience. Tinkler with the Chasetown grab. Brilliantly thrown into space. And there was just nothing Malmö could do but watch it go. You see Andrew Mee get into the power position. These players have been together most of their careers. Both came through the University of Limerick system. Both originals of PELT back when it was established in 2012. So here, 12th year anniversary of the club, looking to qualify for the European Championships mixed division for the first time. They have visited in the open division previously. So the PELT O-line remains flawless after 2 points, and of course that early goal. Darragh O'Sullivan throwing it to Giza Vilde. Now previously Clara Carlson threw that incredible shot to Joanna Lindberg, opening up the space. So the base of the offense for Malmö may be male matching. As there's up play, fantastic defensive pressure. Maroney steals through. He threw that assist earlier. He wants it all. Take it down for another break for PELT. That's Kevin Doherty with the snag. But you've got to give a lot of credit to Kieran Maroney getting the assist, reading the space, and a great arcing throw around to Doherty. Of course, before that as well, reading the play as Malmö were trying to get set up, jumping the lane and getting the interception. So PELT 4-2 up. Their only turnover came on the second point, and that was them giving possession back to a Malmö O-line that was just starting to look comfortable, trying to use the full extremities of their roster. Coming into this matchup, sure, there's obviously been the standout we mentioned before. Otto Edgren already got himself on the stats board. Jace Drennan's also been fantastic for them, but in order for them to really succeed, they need players like Clara Carlson, Joanna Lindberg, the always impressive Francesca Plakanica, to really step up and deliver. Algren, disc in hand, marked by Hudson. There's the throw around. And this is where PELT like to ratchet up the pressure. Once they're stuck on the sideline, that's an excellent break to get out of the auspices of the defense. Algren leads again. It is taken down by Almstrom. Almstrom looks for the flick straight into the middle. Finds a body. The hook shut off by the initial move of Murray. There's a brilliant leading pass, so this middle force not quite working out. Excellent movement by Carbon. Carbon gets the float, and there's the leading pass from Egrin all the way into the path and collected. Brilliant work from Malmö, going this way and that way, zigzagging down the pitch, and again using their full retinue of weapons. Of course, Egrin is going to be involved. The up-rushing play, the great sitting pass, and well taken down. That was Clara Carlson with the grab. So getting on the stat sheet for the second time, but you can already see how crucial Carlson is. Malmö offense, when the Malmö offense looks like it's at its best. The score now 4-3. A little insight on how PELT got here. They also beat EUCS. They beat out from Hungary as well. Again, a team who were below them in the standings, not by as much, but a victory they needed to keep their championship hopes alive. And that was McKeown to Mead, Mead to Inkenhag. Inkenhag goes back to Tinkler, Tinkler goes to McKeown, the younger of the McKeown sisters on this team, the handler of the pair as well. You can see Malmö with a zone. We've seen Tinkler not if throw hammers over, especially to people like Martin. Then Tinkler gets on the uprush, shoots immediately all the way across, and it is caught. It's a honeypot. Ladies and gentlemen, Eva McKeown on the opposite side, Christy Tinkler with the assist. They're getting married in 2 months, and you can see what a partnership they make. So the Pelt O-line remains flawless. 3 points scored so far, 3 offensive holds. And with the conditions as favorable as they are to the throwers, and the genetics of the Martin family being as elongated as those phenotypes have presented, imagine Pelt are going to be pretty comfortable against those zone looks. Malmö will need to change things up, but first they'll need to get an offensive hold. And there's the pull out of the hands of Emma Sexton. And here come Malmö. Again, you can see they really want to get Carlson involved as much as possible. She collects the disc and gives it back to Algren. But now Malmö clear out. Pelt going with a match. And Emma tries to get there, but that is a big leaping grab. Taken down, and now Malmö off to the races. Carlson puts that one back in her pocket. A little bit close to the gap on the force. Carlson wants to go back. That is nicely shut down initially. Lots of people underneath it. It's still taken down. And there's another leading pass that almost goes astray, but Egren able to hold on to it. So Malmö playing fast and loose with possession right now, but it's what the defense is forcing them to do. And there's the huge pass from Egren, wants the swing all the way across, gets it, brilliant positioning. Reinstrom coming in right where she was needed, right when she was needed there. Of course, now being abandoned, a little bit forced to lead, and that one is behind. Villa is there to knock it right into the ground. And Pelt get a hard-earned turnover. Close pressure. They were in a lot of trouble before it went to Philippa Renström. And an awful lot more afterwards. Understandably, Malmö take a timeout as Pelt in the driver's seat. Welcome back, everyone, and while these teams have a timeout and a discussion amongst themselves to work out what to do next, let's find out what's happening elsewhere here in Warsaw. Now, I can't be held responsible for the accuracy of the following but we might as well. Heroes and Mosquitoes were coming in ahead of both of these teams, as well as all of the other teams competing for a spot in the European Championships. They were the only two safe ones, apart from in Pool A. In Pool B, it was Tartu Turbulence. Tartu Turbulence have already beaten Malmö. Tartu Turbulence play Pelt this evening. On the opposite side, Mosquitoes have gone 3-0 so far, holding on to their position. Well earned and defended the Austrians with a +18 goal difference. However, Heroes are currently 0-3 with a series of tough losses and a -7 goal difference. So it certainly looks like Heroes will be dropping out of the ranking, which opens up certainly one spot. And we'll see how much further it goes. Of course, none of these teams were within one spot of qualifying. So there remains quite a distance to go. With the rankings being as they are, if Pelt want to merely hold on to their current ranking, which puts them at 18th, not even concede, they do need to win this game by several points. Remember, Malmö 24th, Pelt 18th. 16 teams going through, 2 of whom have already booked their automatic places, but are ranked in the top 16. So it is top 16 rankings that gets you through this weekend. Pesh working with Sexton, the two of them. happy to just get things going on their own for now. And a nice bit of leading play. Oh, that's really well taken in by O'Sullivan. I thought it was going to dirt. O'Sullivan had other ideas. He throws it back into Pesh. Sexton. Sexton wants Mitchell. Gets him. He toes the line. Toe tapping time to hold on to possession. Back to Sexton. Sexton across to Pesh. Connor Pesh goes back to Sexton. You can really see her marshalling the troops and trying to help those snails keep a steady pace. It's a low throw. It's lower hand. Sullivan. And comfortable throw to Mitchell. Inexperience not showing right now. Pesh fakes up the line. Steps back into the middle. Sexton. Thought she was going to go one way. Goes the other. Renstrom doing whatever she can to limit it. Mitchell tries to lead Pesh and does. It's another break for Pelt. Everything is going to plan for the Irish right now. So Pelt 6-3 up, and it has been hard grinding match defense. They might have gotten fancy a little bit with the force, and at times we've seen Malmö be able to take advantage of that. Of course, by Malmö I largely mean Clara Carlson, as they have been very impressive so far in this game. Here comes the big pull, and here come the big Swedes with a big task ahead of them. Trying to get their Plakanika. So central to good things to start with. Maroney wants another block, something fierce. And this time it's the pressure on the follow-up that undoes them. Kieran Maroney. We don't keep defensive stats. And even if we did, that one would be marked down as a block. Inkenhag to pick up. Pelt want to ratchet up the pressure. Renstrom on the mark. O'Sullivan. Long cut but can't get free. Maroney goes down the line. Inkenhag tries to lead. Great heads-up awareness from Malmö. Keeping their hopes alive with that block. Of course, Noah Carbon, a well-established force in this game, but not so much in the culture. Only 1 year so far, looking for Renstrom down the pitch, not able to connect. So now Mark Fanning, the Tipperary man, takes that long walk to the disc. He has been the foundation of offenses across Europe throughout Irish Ultimate. And that one thrown behind McKeown. So Pelt give it back right outside the end zone. Malmö want to take their time with this. Ebby Algren. Algren picks up. Renstrom makes a move. Algren tries to lead. It bounces out of her hands. She goes for the second guess. And it hits the dirt. Renstrom playing 7 years based out of Malmö. The entire time has played with Cockham's Malmö. And of course SUFC Valkyria. Probably named largest out of those club teams. A graduate of many a youth program as O'Sullivan gets the nice leading pass back to Maroney, but absent-mindedly, or maybe he just likes playing defense, the bobble on the leading pass. That was a really nice setup from O'Sullivan. Avant-garde. But Maroney was not on guard for it. Egren. Shoots. Big leading pass, and it is an assist. Of course it is. Because Egren had the disc in hand, and he finds Noah Carbon, who earned back possession on one of those plays earlier on. Again, coming from Malmö. Friend invited him a little over a year ago. He's been putting his considerable talent to our sport, so very welcome to it. It is lovely to see you out there, Carbon. That man himself, Otto Egren, playing 7 years, only 20 years old, coming up through the youth program's national experience with the Belgian under-17s and 20s and Sweden under-20s and under-24s. He's played for the Glory Owls out of Belgium, and of course Malmö Ultimate Club based out of Sweden. Picked up a bronze at JJUC 2022 with Sweden mixed. I'll give a shout out to his sporting hero as well, Rowan McDonnell, because of his attitude towards teaching and coaching Ultimate players. And we know that Sweden, one of the oldest empires of Ultimate in the European scene, a great teaching culture. They fell off for a few years, perhaps not in the teaching, but to outside of Sweden, it certainly seemed like they weren't quite as imposing a force. But as you can see in 2022, with the mixed bronze success, looking back into it, Martin collects. Mead goes down the line. Martin feeds Scully in the middle. Now out to Sexton. Sexton hits Tinkler in that power position. He's not afraid to huck. Doesn't like the timing of the cut though. Instead goes the lead to the sideline. And present of mind. Tinkler clears out. Sexton tries to get free, and thanks to the incredible space that McKeown found herself in, she still has no mark. The post coming back, McKeown tries to lead that one. Tinkler was a bit too lackadaisical, and that is the first turnover for the PELT O-line in this game. And what a way to get it. An open pass to an unmarked handler in the dump space. Well, now PELT will have to show what their O-line can do physically, as Malmö recognize the opportunity of the moment and will be taking a time out. We'll take one ourselves in the booth. It is currently PELT 6, Malmö 4, but the Swedes the chance to break. We know that Mosquitoes are holding their position and Heroes have surrendered theirs. What else is going on in that group? Well, I will tell you, dear viewer. Savage Ultimate 2-1. Sky This are 2-1 as well. So the two Polish teams still in the hunt to an extent, but you got to imagine will require big wind turbulence should either of them get the chance. Steamhawk with that very important universe point victory over Flow, doing so condemn both those teams to the scrap heap as well. You need to finish top of your pool and then win your crossover game. So it certainly looks like Mosquitoes with that 14-10 win over Savage are in that positions right now. Malmö, they need to top their pool, and it requires some mathematics to get there at this point. 6-4, they want to hold on, leading pass through into the middle of the pitch. And there's the overthrow again. Pelt able to ratchet up the defense once it gets to a less confident thrower. Shaman was undone. Now, McKeown goes to Martin. Martin doesn't want the big shot to Tinkler. He immediately pivots and comes back under. McKeown to Scully. Scully back to McKeown. This is where she wants to be, right at the center of a defense. As it swarms around her and she can dictate flow. She's forced to launch one up though. Few bodies down there and it's well taken down by Aoife McKeown. Family heritage making new family legacies. The McKeowns working it out. Aoife McKeown, an incredible athlete. And Tino McKeown with a brilliant shot to find her in the end zone, recognizing the trusted receiver and sending it. Aoife McKeown coming through the University of Limerick as well, playing the sport for 7 years now. So Pelt, the O-line, able to get it back and hold on. They didn't give up a break. They came fairly close, but they did not snap. Now with a chance to get a break of their own and take half 8-4. We will see how it goes. I'm sure Malmö have a few things to say about that yet. Carlson with the disc. Veteran. It's into the middle of the pitch. It's a lot of hard work from Algren to get the disc back. Now big launch, wants to send the deep shot immediately down the field. Was looking for Plakanika. Inkenhag was certainly in the space and ready to contest. So here is the kicker. They'll now get to march this all the way down the sideline. Ingenhag does so. It's Plakanika. Puts on the mark. Doesn't like either of them. Goes to the big hammer over the top because nobody reacted and gets the goal. Made the first cut. Defense didn't come to him. Inkenhag recognized the space and finds him for the shot. Pelt take half. So we see here both countries go to the same space, but Malmö clearly feel like they don't have to worry aside. Anything going there will float, underestimating the throws available to Inkenhag. Something that Maroney and Murray are well aware of, hence the cuts. So brilliant stuff from Inkenhag to open up the Swedish defense. They are 8-4, or Pelt are 8-4 up and in a commanding position as we go into half.
Yes, he will. The lovely day.
it definitely says there's a half. Yeah. But there's also, it's just if it doesn't get to 8 by 10 minutes.
Welcome back, everybody, to this pool game here at the Summer Invite in Warsaw. The last opportunity for many of these teams at all to make it to the European Championships at the end of September. Malmö Ultimate Club have a long road ahead of them with their loss already against Tartu. If they lose to PELT, that is definitively their season over. PELT don't exactly have a short path ahead of them either. They win here, win against Tartu, and then beat Mosquitoes. They run the table effectively. They're going to the finals as Tinkler looks to go to the end zone. Big arcing pass, but it falls through the hands of McKeown. A connection normally to be relied upon. That time falls short. So PELT, their O-line gives up the disc for a second time, starting the half. On offense. So Malmö have a chance to get a break. And every score is crucial for the ranking. PELT do not want to let the Swedes close this gap. Even a point could prove deadly. So here come Malmö. Just a bit of position discussion. Perhaps a pick. That's Martin Havrinasab with the disc. Immediately cutting deep afterwards. Jalbury. McKeown putting in work. There's the big leading pass. Mead tries to get there, gets the touch, and no contest. That is a clean block for Andrew Mead. The linchpin handler, showing he can get it done on the other side of the disc as well. You know he's going to want to throw a flick break every chance he gets. Tinkler, no to the scuba, throws his mark to the ground. McKeown goes back, wants to continue it. Brilliant presence of mind by Sexton under intense pressure. She's able to hold on to it. A bit of an olé as the red flag flat past her. They're having a discussion about whether she was in or not. And they're going to say that is a goal for PELT and a hold. 9-4. Nobody worry about that, as there is still plenty of action to come. Another look here at the block. You can see it just sits out a little bit too much. Golshniko wants to be able to take it down, but me got there first. And then on the opposite side is Cleo Gullstrand trying to rip across, getting the catch-up block. But Emma Sexton knew they were coming the whole time. Stepped in and took it down. So 9-4. PELT want to continue this commanding lead. Disc in hand, that is Kieran Maroney. He has had many defensive blocks so far in this game. He's also the stat leader for PELT coming into it. And the captains of the open side. And that's, oh, a brilliant reaching back grab. Carlson somehow gets their fingers around that. Renstrom goes back to Egren. Egren now with the big hawk. That's what he wants all the time. Looking down the field, cannot connect with Clara Carlson. Copenhagen native. Actually started playing Minnesota. Division, a few people there. Very impressive showings for Njord, especially going to Wook back in Cincinnati in 2022. Hag looking for another hammer. This one again taken down. Mitchell was right there for it, despite the two Malmö defenders. Murray across to Maroney. Maroney flips that one through it. Vilda has to drop to catch it, but excellent hands. Brilliant break from Pesh across to Maroney. Maroney continues the breaks to the far side, and they're looking for the finishing shot. It is nicely taken down, and Mitchell catches. It's another break for PELT. Captain Hannah Wilson with the assist. Really well timed from PELT. All of that going to the break side. All of it started that fantastic inside flick break from Connor Pesh. Got across to Maroney, and then they were off to the races. Maroney, Wilson, Mitchell. That's another break. 10-4 for PELT. The Shannon Siders. Fear not, fellow Ultimate enjoyers. That was merely a fake out to get rid of all of the pretenders. Those who are only here for the clout rather than for the clutch plays. And that's what we're going to see as this game gets down towards the end. As it will continue. PELT from Limerick. 10-4 up on Malmö Ultimate Club from Malmö in Sweden, surprisingly. You have to say it has been a matter of instinct and commitment from PELT on the defensive side. Really hard grinding match defense, and then keeping their heads up for the floaty passes into the rarely open lanes. So committing to their role, but also supporting each other. Once their incredible pressure match defense starts to introduce more mistakes into Malmö's offense. For the most part, offensively, they have been very impressive. Only a handful of turnovers, and coming later in the game as well, so really establishing themselves early, getting several offensive holds in a row. That's what you like to see. Malmö on the other side, they've got shooters, they've got great receivers, and when they're at their best, they're playing through all seven on their line. That zigzag attack style suiting them well. It requires a lot of hard running, and it is a difficulty to get free against the PELT match defense. Lindberg has done so this time. Goes with the pop back into the hands of Algren. Algren pops it down the line. That is a power position. Sat into by Almstrom, but didn't like the timing. Now tries to lead Algren. And again, the match pressure means that has to be a very precise throw to get around the defense, but not in a place where Hudson, who now is the disc in hand for PELT, can get a block, and instead it goes to turf. Inkenhag clears up the line. Sexton tries to get free as well. Hudson with a backhand break to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan tireless. Has not been playing the sport for that long, but a born athlete. Back to Hudson. A bit of an import from across the sea. Inkenhag able to get her hands on that, and Sullivan, brilliant cut, leaving Almstrom in the dirt. And then leading past to Sexton in a comfortable position. Inkenhag goes down the line. Sexton wants to find her. Inkenhag obliges. That's another break. 11-4 to PELT. And an understandable exclamation of frustration from Max Almstrom. Brilliant play. Sexton and Inkenhag combining for that goal. They really bring a measure of calm and lethality to the PELT D-line once they get the turn. Some really sharp throwers on this Pelt side to go along with the athletic commitment throughout the squad.
Chubby offense! Chubby offense! Come in, you have. I'm jumping.
So Wilson with disc in hand. One of the leaders of this side, one of the leaders of the Irish under-24 team last year as well. And we're starting to see things mix it up a little bit. Malmö bring a couple of their D-line players over to the O-line. Maybe that timing getting mixed up as they cut each other off on those cuts downfield. Goes to Carbon, the rookie. Carbon able to get the swing around Jobs. Tia Jobs sends it straight back into the waiting hands of Gullstrand. Gullstrand. Jobs goes down the line. Gullstrand floats it up. Jobs gets it in a power position. Sits. Doesn't want to take the leading pass shot to the end zone. Instead is going to wait for a dump. Gets one right in front of her. Quick look to the break side, but then they go right down the open side. And this is Gullstrand with the disc. Wants to finish it off. Stolen at the last by Maroney. Another interception. He's always lurking and he's always waiting a big shot. He wants Wilson all the way down the pitch. Wilson goes and tries to collect it back in bounds. Crucially, was that touched by Hampus Colbrand, which will mean the disc comes back in where the 77 stands. So after some really impressive offense from Malmö, they run it all the way down that far sideline. Maroney And we are back as we see Malmö work it all the way, and once more that is another defensive block. Kieran Maroney. Proving why he is so vital. Always getting in and around Gullstrand. No slouch themselves. Not able to come up with it then. And now Wilson. In a lot of space, but doesn't want to take on the big throw. The big man, Fanning, clears down the line, goes back to Maroney. Maroney with the pop across and immediately receiving it back. Nice 1-2 play with Alex Lowry. Now big shot out of the hands of Tara Kelly. Tara Kelly wants to find Wilson. Gullstrand was patrolling the deep space as well as that disc just falls a little bit short. You can start to see the fatigue wearing on these teams. One can't help but wonder if PELT are trying to put this game away quickly and move on to Tartu. Mikko perhaps coming on for Wilson, the intended target of that deep shot. As you see, Vilda will be putting the mark on. I believe that, I can't quite tell from this far, I think that might be Tia Jobs picking up the disc from Malmö. All of the players this Malmö team are quite young, and once again, gets it! Interceptions, blocks, and goals. There can do no right as he does it all for PELT Ultimate right now. Let's have another look here. You can see the miscommunication. Gull makes the initial move, cuts to game. Marone recognizes what's happening, commits on the throw, times his jump very well, and gets the Callahan. So a big score for Pelt, and they go 12-4 up. That should satisfy the algorithm. It's enough for them to not fall victim to it. Welcome back, everybody, to Summer Invite Tour in Warsaw, the mixed division full swing. Pelt Ultimate tied at the top of their group, 12-4 up on Malmö, as both these teams, or as both Tartu and Pelt, I should say, the two teams who are undefeated in their pool, try to book a place in the chip finals happening at the end of September. Tartu currently playing out. As Pelt are up on Malmö. On the other side, Mosquitoes are to be in the commanding lead pool. Let's see what the Swede got in store. Almstrom, big shot, wants to send it all the way. Pesh gets lost underneath it. Otto Edgren collects. Otto Edgren with the quick pass across the Planica. And Planica wants to get Renström with the goal. And that's Malmö doing what they do best. Planica getting the assist. Brilliant work by Renström, recognizing the force there. Can go anywhere in the end zone against Inkenhag, so let me just go to the time for the easy score. Malmö able to get a goal back on the board and stop the bleed in this match. Last time they scored, it was to make it 6-4. Now they scored to make it 12-5. Can they make it 12-6? We shall see one underneath. To Mead. Mead immediately shooting the flick, finding McAllister. Perfectly in stride. McAllister wants cuts. Lowry screams down one side. Martin on the other. McAllister. McAllister wants the scuba. Puts his pocket. Scully clears up the line. McKeown turns back to Scully. It was a lot of confusion, but in the end, the school teacher had the answer. And Darren Scully picks up the goal and a flawless offensive hold by Pelt to respond to Malmö. Puts them 2 away from taking this game. It's a lot of cluster of confusion, but in that, Darren Scully able to get a bit of separation from David Hjort and get the goal. It's very young Malmö, years of ultimate together ahead of them. A lot of them coming out of the same school class, and then the coaches from that class started teaching in schools themselves and basically built up a club out of that. So very admirable way to put it together. Not sure of anybody on the team other than Andrew Golshenko is over 30. PELT with another big pull. Taken immediately by Algren. Pops it across to Almstrom, gets it back. Wants to send now, and from a power position, Carlson shoots for the end zone. That was spectacular stuff by the Swiss. Let's look at this. Textbook play, get Carlson into power position, and they shoot for the end zone. Really nicely chased and taken down by Nina Westling. Nina Westling, playing for 3 years from Lund in Sweden, playing with the Malmö side. Took it after stopping playing handball but wanting to keep a team sport together. Played for Aka Ultimate Sweden and Malmö, playing in the under-20 team last year, EY23. I'll give a shout out to MH247 and family. Fixing their feet late in this game. 2 very nice looking offensive holds, clean as the day is long. Of course, the day getting ever shorter as we come to the end of summer. And Malmö's offense has been firing all match. McKeown seems to be the one calling for that disc. We'll be starting things off. Pool A. Mosquitoes undefeated Savage Ultimate going to come in second. They march ahead of them if they want to try and qualify for the championships. McAllister with the shot. Flop might stay in bounds. Lots of people trying to come around it, but it was always wrong direction. And the injury called. I think that might be Aoife McKeown coming off. McAllister wanted to get outside in, leading backhand, and let that sit back in so they cast it, but the tail end of it, so you got to pay so much to your release and your snap, kids at home, because that's going to really tell the tale of the flight when it gets towards the end. Here come Malmö. They want the break. They certainly could do with one. Big shot to the and straight out. 2 large figures underneath it. And Martin, crucial touch. They were looking for Colbrand. They couldn't beat the bricklayer. He's been playing for 20 years. Took a break for about 2-3 years from Monsteras. Currently played Istamar. Forgive me as we have another look at that big by Martin. Colbrand is also over 30. So 2 players so far I've noticed on Melby. So Inkenhag offense started as they have another look. McAllister doesn't like that leading pass initially. Malmö poached to try and limit options. Brilliant work side by Lowry to get free. Tries to lead through. Excellent block. Havaranaslav. Inasav. Sorry. Recognizing the opportunity and doing exactly the PELT they almost so effectively earlier in this game. So now Malmö want another break. Can they get it? Some tough guy isolated front of Stack. Now they need the break over the top. Going for the hammer. And brilliant heads-up play. Giza Wild, the vicinity, gets the hand crucially in the way. Looking for a double happiness. Arden Havrin going to be disappointed to let that one go. I think a leaf out of Pelt's book, perhaps. The front of Stack isolation cut didn't get free. Goes the hammer over the top. Brilliant peel defense from Giza. Get a crucial block, and there's a timeout called. We come back and Pelt settle in positions following that block from Vilda. Judging by the only person I can frame right now, I assume it is Inkenhag picking up the disc. Indeed, Mikion in the dump position. Inkenhag was looking dump immediately. Didn't see the initial cut from Martin. Goes to McKeown. Already seen her boost a shot deep before. Although I believe Havrilisab be calling some kind of contact foul on McAllister. Disc might need to go back. Although I think Havrilisab has just retracted that. So McAllister is going to take the disc. Well, that was an uncontested sign. You can't uncontest your own call. You retract it. Now they just work out the positioning. Master will go again. McKeown pops it up right in front of her. McKeown sits into the power position. McAllister with Inkenhag. Inkenhag makes a swing across to Murray. Called on Inkenhag though. Inkenhag instead throws it straight into the waiting hands of Vilde. Perfectly last taken by, I thought it was going to Murray initially. And now Martin Inkenhag. Murray can't connect with either. so PELT stay out there. And Malmö get another look at what would be a break. It's been 13-6 for a while now. It was a quick pace, snappy game. Has somewhat as the fatigue has set in. These teams played 2 games coming into this one. They both have another remaining. And a great cross eventually forcing him out, put on a force. PELT support limiting the stack. And Malmö struggle to get it off their own line. Stuck outside of the end zone. Quick throw. It finds Hellstrand. Needs some support, but again, it's a lot of dumping and swinging outside their own end zone. Havarinisab gets it under low and deep, and it never comes back in. Was hoping to find Gullstrand to contest with Vilda and Martin, if you forget. And another Malmö doesn't go where they wanted it to. A lot of Hawks have gone out that sideline in this match. As Inkenhag is going to come pick that one back up. Oh, forgive me, it didn't really go out the sideline, seemed to never come back in. As you can see, PELT setting up effectively within the red zone, is within Europe's brick mark. A term we borrowed from American football that I'm quite of. McKeown, the hot step back. Down the line, McAllister. McAllister wants to swing it all across. Excellent heads up play. Somehow rescued by Martin. Throws it back across to Inkenhag. And an incredible procession of play. Martin caught and threw that disc in one motion. The call, a travel. I'm sure Malmö thought they had a block. Now PELT hold on. McAllister. Quick play. Back to Martin. Vilda and Lowry trying to get free in the end zone. McAllister flips that up to Martin. Continues. Martin leads him to the front corner. And McAllister collects for 14-6. The speed at which they initiate this dominator look. Martin and McAllister. Martin initially becoming involved thanks to an extendo arm grab. Commanding lead now 1 point away from tying this match up. There's the pull. Be the final point. I'm sure Malmö have a few things to say about that. And they get things off the way they like to. Quick throw on Carlson. Carlson has to contend with the force of Sexton. Poach players. Egren reads the poach and throws it. Trying to recover, couldn't get there. Time nicely taken in by Algren. Great quick time switch by Mitchell and Maroney. You know Maroney wanted another block, but Edgren able to catch it under pressure and then sees the free and feeds him. So 14-7. And now PELT. They need an offensive hole. 15-8, 6 points in their runs. Eight points in the different score line. They won't gain much from it, but they shouldn't lose any. Line up to extend this match one more point. Kjort, disc in hand. There's the pull from Hjort. And it's underneath it. Throws it to Scully. Scully to McKeown to Martin. A casual-handed grab down around his knees. He's missed for most snort. Now back to McKeown. Martin comes Hesh. Get free. Martin doesn't care about that. One of the ends only all Lincoln Hag wants to oblige and get the 2-5-7 they win over Malmö. Lincoln Hag adding another who are already impressive. That brings her up in for tournament. Nope, she actually scored earlier from a pass from Emmett Sexton as well. 8 for the tournament. Also adding an assist as well, if you remember the two Finn in the game. Lincoln Hag a real stalwart, a stat for this PELT side, and someone that Tartu Turbulence are going to need to try and find a way to limit. That game ends, but we've still got so much more action to come. PELT and Tartu Turbulence in the mixed division will be 20 past local. Next up, Weemhug against Sky this Warsaw. And of course, happening in Ferrigan mixed division. We're taking on Frube in the pre-quarter mixed. Seski Discus are taking on Disconnection in Sober as well. In the open and women's divisions, we still have to come. Woof! From Austria taking on Queen Kong in the women division. And Uprising and Outsiders taking each other on in the open division. So, plenty action still to come, and only one place to see it, and that's here with Solid Sport. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next catch time. Same catch channel.